Hey everybody, Sam the Electrician here, talking about Western independence and Alberta separation. Welcome back, thanks for joining me again. I know I haven't been making a lot of videos lately, kind of in a political lull here with the COVID. Hasn't really been too much to talk about. I don't want to go on and on about COVID or American politics, but there has been some political happenings a-doing lately, so let's get into it. First off, Saskatchewan Party won its fourth straight majority victory in the provincial elections held not too long ago. It's good news for them. I guess the electorate is happy with the job they're doing. Nice to see a more independent sort of minded party, formed by Saskatchewanians in power over there still. Kind of keep the leftist globalists out of the halls of power, but that's not the big news. The big news, of course, is that the Buffalo Party, which was only formed, I believe, in June of last year, who ran only 17 candidates and were not mentioned by the mainstream media at all. I didn't see anything about them on the news. Though I don't watch as much news as I used to because it's so annoying and frustrating to watch the leftist propaganda shill for the globalists. However, I didn't see anything about it, and they came in third with an average of 650 votes per candidate that ran, where the PCs, I think, were around 250 something, and the Greens were at 150 something average, in that same sort of the way they tallied that. So somebody did a projection and said that if they had ran a candidate in every area riding, whatever they call them, constituencies, whatever, I can't, anyway, riding, they would have got 10% of the vote, which is pretty decent for a brand new party whose their message is independence. Let's get the heck out of Confederation. And that's what we need. We need to take our province on a provincial level and form a party that forms the provincial government of Alberta, who is independently minded. It's the only way we're ever going to get a true referendum and a true movement to get out of Confederation. Kenny is a avowed federalist. He's said it. He is absolutely 100% dedicated to the idea of Canada, and we're never going to get out with him in charge. So we have to sweep from the ground and take the province. The Wild Rose Independence Party of Alberta, or whatever they're called on the federal level, the old Wexit movement that merged with the Freedom Conservative Party, that's great that they're working on the federal level. I have nothing bad to say about that, but in my mind, political tactics, we've got to take the province first, or concurrently, and then just leave. So I don't want to say anything negative, but sending people down to Ottawa to play the federal party games is legitimizing it, right? And I don't see any more. I don't see how it can really help other than getting our message out there to the rest of Canada, but they don't get to say whether we're leaving or not. It's not their choice. So, I don't know. Good for them, as I say. Any publicity is good publicity at this point, especially for those at home in Alberta who are thinking about jumping on the bandwagon and moving towards freedom. Another quick note on political stuff. We are actually sort of month to month teetering on the brink of a federal election. I don't see that changing much. The Liberals might push over into a majority, and then we'll all really regret that. So I don't know how good of news that is, but we have to keep an eye on it and see what's going on. The two ridings that had by-elections down in Toronto, I guess, were won very slim margins, as opposed to normally. They're usually deep red Liberal ridings, and I guess the PC, CPC, whatever they're called, the Conservatives made large inroads on those on the numbers in those two ridings. And the PPC also ran candidates in those two ridings and apparently took 4% of the vote, which garnered a scolding from the Conservative Party of Canada for splitting the vote, which shows the entitlement of the federal Conservatives, just assuming that anything right of center is automatically their vote. If they can't compete in the marketplace of ideas for the right-wing vote, then they're going to lose those votes. So vote how you feel. Don't vote strategically. That's my personal view on voting, because we all have to stand up together how we feel. If everybody voted strategically, there'd only be two parties pretty much, and we'd end up being just like the Yankees. So thanks again for joining me. That's just a little tiny blip about what's been happening in politics lately. And I guess the NDP took BC, but nobody cares about that. That's the Lower Mainland NDP voters outvoted the rest of the province again, gave the NDP a majority, so it's communist rule in BC as usual. No surprise there, nobody cares. So, I'm sure the people in BC care, but, it doesn't affect us in Alberta at all. So, bring cash when you go to BC, and take it easy.